CockFM Radio. It's all about you.
Alright, you're listening to CockFM Radio Shagam. A very lovely morning to you wherever you're joining us from this Friday. It's a good way to wrap up the week with another edition of the Headliners on CockFM Radio. My name is Olufemi Peters. And today, as is our practice, we're going to be looking at the stories making the rounds on the front pages of our national dailies. We're going to be looking at The Punch, The Nation newspaper, Daily Trust, Daily Independence, Nigerian Tribune, The Sun, Vanguard, as well as Daily Times this Friday morning. And to kick the ball rolling, we'll start off with the Daily Sun newspaper today, Friday, the 12th of May 2023. Cover story for Daily Sun: APC admits mistake in zoning of Senate presidency. Others: APC admits mistake in zoning of Senate presidency. Others: urges aspirants to give party time to further consult. Pledges response when president-elect returns from foreign trip. Micro-zoning to individuals wrong and undemocratic. That's according to Ojiuzo Kalu. Lawmakers will disobey party on day of voting if. That's according to Yari. Yari is also one of the contestants for the position of the Senate president. Now let's give you the rundown of some of the stories still on the cover of Daily Sun. NAS leadership. Igbo group condemns APC zoning formula, says party must avoid repeat of 2015 rebellion in Senate. Court reinstates Ebonyi deputy speaker, 8 other lawmakers. It's time for stock taking, Atiku tells PDP governors. And now we move on to This Day newspaper, where the cover story says Adamu is saying that we didn't consult adequately on zoning of National Assembly leadership positions. Now, this cover story has some writers which say admit responsibility, says party will reconsider position. Aspirants warn opposition may have its way in 10th Assembly. Yari: North will take decision if zoning is not reviewed. This injustice needs to be corrected, says Musa. We will challenge it, Kalu declares. And now the Daily Times has a rather different cover story on its cover page today. The cover story for Daily Times today says oil workers bemoan federal government 77 trillion naira debt. Angola displaces Nigeria as Africa's biggest exporter. And still in the world of business, Business Day newspaper's cover story today says Nollywood bets on popularity to attract more investors. Nollywood bets on popularity to attract more investors. Today's edition of Daily Independence newspaper: Nigeria's 77 trillion naira debt, calamity of highest proportion. That's according to Pegasan. Nigeria's 77 trillion naira debt, calamity of highest proportion. Pegasan. Now let's give you a rundown of some other stories on the cover of Daily Independent. 10th National Assembly Leadership Tussle. Hold your fire, Adamu pleads as Yari Kalu lead protest. Kalu asks APC to retrace steps or face revolt. State governments to feed, accommodate their inmates. According to the federal government, spent 22.4 billion naira on feeding 75,507 inmates. 10th National Assembly Reps Caucus vows to review APC zoning arrangement. Seplat's crisis deepens as court orders suspension of MD, directors and secretary. Supreme Court adjourns Nnamdi Kanu's case to September 14. PDP receding. Let's regain its prime place, Atiku tells members. Insists party won presidential election, will retrieve its mandate. Party says judicial action will determine stability of Nigeria. Yusuf worried Nigeria's debt may rise to 80 trillion naira by year end. And now we move on to the Nation newspaper today, Friday, the 12th of May 2023. Cover story for the Nation. APC chairman to aggrieved lawmakers. Hold your fire. APC chairman to aggrieved lawmakers. Hold your fire. Now, this story has some interesting riders that say zoning of National Assembly top posts. Zoning of National Assembly top posts not final. Yari Kalu Musa take protest to Secretariat. Umahi issues will be resolved amicably. That's the former governor of Ebonyi State, Dave Umahi, saying that issues will be resolved amicably. And we're still looking at the Nation newspaper. Let's give you some of the stories here. Wike, Makinde, others, Sean Pale with Atiku, PDP leaders, ex-VP laments party's decline. Free Kanu as parting gift. Ohaneze tells Buhari. President Tinubu, others celebrate Fashoranti at 97. 75,000 inmates feed with 22.4 billion naira annually, says federal government. Non-oil export proceeds to attract rebates, says CBN. Daily Trust newspaper. Uncertainty over multi-billion naira Abuja Airport runway project. Uncertainty over multi-billion naira Abuja Airport runway project. Criticisms trail fresh 3.4 billion naira consultancy fee. Stakeholders flee delay in project execution. 65 billion naira budgeted in 5 years. That's the cover story for Daily Trust newspaper today. And now there's another interesting story on the cover of Daily Trust. It says Northwest deserves the Senate presidency, and he also has a picture of Alhaji Abdulaziz Yari, the former governor of Zamfara State. Northwest deserves the Senate presidency. That's a claim by Abdulaziz Yari, former Zamfara State governor. And now we look at the Punch newspaper. National Assembly leadership. APC moves to pacify aggrieved aspirants. Stop agitations. Party will revisit zoning formula. Adamu begs aspirants. That story is on page 2 of the Punch newspaper today. And still on the Punch, Buhari Oshibajo governors get 651 million hardship allowance. Debt servicing its 112 million US dollars monthly, says CBN. Atiku relieves PDP's glorious days, says party moving backwards. Customs sees sack of military uniforms. Federal government sends foodstuff to Sudan for stranded Nigerians. Lagos, naked man found dead inside car. Fashoranti marks 97th birthday, laments Nigeria's woes. And now we look at the Vanguard newspaper. Senate presidency. Northern senators threaten revolt over zoning template. Be bold, reject Tinubu's anointed candidates. Senators tell APC National Working Committee. Hold your fire will ensure justice. Adamu tells Kalu, Yari, Musa, Izunaso, and others. North Central APC insists on speakership. Party will revisit zoning formula. That, according to Dave Humai, says one can't be asked to be patriotic if intentionally excluded. That's the cover story for the Vanguard newspaper today. And I will give you some other stories on the cover of the Vanguard newspaper. Presidential poll. Court adjourns Atiku's petition till May 18. Suspended members acting APC script, says Labour Party. Particulars of Kogi Bayelsa Imo governorship candidates out today. That's according to INEC. Consumers raise concerns as fruit sellers use chemical for ripening. Detention, I'm scared. Kanu may die in DSS custody. That's according to Ozekube. Military onslaught, panic as fleeing terrorists approach Bimin Gwari. Oguta Orashi River dredging, game changer for Imo and Africa. That's according to Oshibaju. And that's how we call it a wrap on today's edition of the Headliners. Interestingly, it also is the last edition for this week. Till I come your way again next week, Monday by God's grace, I remain your host, Olufemi Peters. You want more info and updates? Visit our social media platforms via CockFM Radio Live on Facebook, CockFM on Twitter, CockFM Radio Live on YouTube, and CockFM Radio Live on Instagram. Many thanks for listening. To have an enjoyable weekend.
CockFM Radio. It's all about you.